Happy Thursday to you. It's another Thursday, and I'm coming at you with another video on card making with Stampin' Up! Products. I am highlighting the Sunrise Sailing set for my online workshop this month. Sign-ups need to be received before the 9th of June, and the kits will go out right away after you register. It is limited in size, so if you're interested, please let me know as soon as possible. I went a little crazy and did twice as many card designs and included twice as many card supplies as I usually do each month. You get 10 instead of 5 for a total of 20 cards instead of 10. Sometimes I just get an idea. I'm going to do a technique that I had done a long time ago for today's card. And I thought I remembered how to do it, but I had to teach myself all over again. I've got some good tips for you, and I hope you enjoy it. We're going to make some sunsets with some simple stamping to make a really pretty card. So let me change so that you can see the project, and we will get started. So this is what we're going to use today. I have a spritzer. These Stampin' Up! Makes these, and I'll tell you why I recommend the Stampin' Up! Brand. Sunrise Sailing is our kit for the month of June, and I am going to use just the die cut for the larger boat in this, so very simple supplies, and we're going to use one stamp, and that's it. So you could use the Happy Retirement or You're Destined for Great Things. One of them's for, perfect for graduation and starting things, and the other saying's great for coming to a different chapter in your life. I'm using the Stampin' Up! Watercolor paper. You need one ink block. It's the letter E. Not sure you can see that, the letter E. And then we're using these stamping pads. You can choose any colors that you want to do a sunset with. We have very vibrant sunsets on our island. I'm using Sweet Sorbet, which is retired, but it's the lighter tone for Poppy Parade, so that would work. Pumpkin Pie, Crushed Curry, and Highland Heather. I also took out my refills for them, and I'll show you why. You may need to use yours depending on how often you use your pads and how inky your stamp pad is at the moment. So these watercolor papers that come from Stampin' Up! Are 5 inches by 7 inches. So I'm going to take this and I am going to cut it at 4 with the short edge on the top. And I'm going to keep that little piece for later, and you'll see why. And then I'm going to go at 3 and 3, so I can get 2 watercolor cards out of the one sheet of paper. So I will put those aside and put my cutter aside. This is going to be layered onto a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 basic black cardstock. Since we're going to cover most of it up, I can take my die cut pieces, my die cuts, and I can go ahead and put them on here and take this out of the middle rather than get another piece of paper, because we're going to cover this up and you'll never know there's a hole on the inside. So thriftiness, another thrifty tip from the girl who's not that thrifty. So I've already cut mine. So I have one sail and one boat piece, and then I have this for my layer. I'm going to put these aside, and I'm going to show you how to do ink on this block in a sunset pattern. You could do it with any colors for any occasion. I am also, if you didn't notice in the beginning, wearing an apron today, not my normal household attire, but this was rather messy. And of course, I'm wearing a white skirt and had lunch plans today. So um, I was not willing to get all sorts of a mess. I'm also going to do it on towel because when I was doing it earlier, I was using an off-brand spritzer. And that, when I pressed it down, was the force was so strong that it bounced down on the ink and got all over my desk. Big mistake and lesson learned. So highly recommend the nice soft misting of the Stampin' Up spritzer. So I'm going to take some paper towel and put this underneath so you can see it better when we put the ink on it. I'm going to use all of these pieces, all of these colors in this order with for the sunset, with the crushed curry at the bottom, then pumpkin pie, sweet sorbet, and then Highland Heather, which is a purple, although the label looks a little bluish. Normally, when you're going to, do something in a progression, I don't want to contaminate my ink pads. So what I'm going to do, I think, is the best way. The thing is, these 3 ink pads are in a nice order. So even if you got them a little bit contaminated, it wouldn't be overly harmful. When you get to this leap between a red and a purple, purple is made out of red and blue, and it just doesn't work. It turns into brown, I think, because you also have the other colors on here. So I have a way around that. What we're going to do is we're going to put a stripe of purple here, a red here, orange, and then yellow at the bottom. I'm going to start with my 2 colors that may not really live together nicely and open my ink pad. And I think you can see I've already taken my ink refill and I've put a little extra ink on this side because I really want to get a lot of ink off. So I'm just made sure that my ink pad is nicely inked at the top there. And I'm going to take it, let's see if I can do this from the side. I'm going to take it and hold this up so that I'm going to do a line down this way. So it's very hard for me to do it so the camera can see it, but there you go. I'm going to do just a little bit like this. And then I'm going to take the pumpkin pie. This is my old stamp pad, old style stamp pad. And do pumpkin pie. I really don't want to touch these 2 colors together. So I'm leaving a little space in between. That way I'm not contaminating the ink pads and I don't have to worry the next time I'm going to use it. I'm going to go on to crushed curry. So I'm going from the darkest to the lighter with the orange, and then the crushed curry at the bottom. I'm not really going all the way to the edge because the paper is a little bit smaller than the ink, than the block anyways. So once I've got the red, orange, and yellow, I'm going to turn it upside down because it's easier for me to reach this way and do some purple along the edge. You get the hang of it. I mean, it's a little weird. I did try doing it with markers. I tried doing it with aqua painters, paintbrushes. It didn't really come out that great. The ink pads work the best. So I'm going to move my white paper to the side because I don't want to mess that up. Now I'm going to take my spritzer and I'm going to gently spray this. Whoop, and it's going to leak. Oh, why it leaks, but it's probably a 12-year-old spritzer, so it's probably a little tired and I probably need to get some new ones. So I'm inking this quite a bit. You want to ink it so much that the ink is very wet, but you don't want them to start to run together. So then I'm going to take my watercolor paper, place it down in the middle, And then just because it's so dang messy, I'm going to wrap my paper towel around it. Look, it's coming out the sides. And that is a good thing because that means I'm covering the whole white sheet. So I'm happy about that. And now that I've got it all wet on there, I'm going to lift it with my there. So you see I've got this dark bit here. I'm just going to lift my paper towel and take that drip away. There's a little bit of white on the edges. You can also take it and put it back down, get a little bit more color on it. If it bothers you, I don't really think it's necessary, but you can. I like a little bit of the white in it because, you know, clouds are kind of like that. They're not all solid things. They're in movement all the time and changing all the time. And there's always holes between them. So that's it. Basically, yes, you have to do that much ink to get one of these. Um, but it comes out pretty cool. And I've done a bunch of these, and I think that this is really the best way to do it is to put it down with the ink pads. Here are some of the other ones that I've done that have dried. So every single one of them comes out different and I think pretty cool looking because that's the thing with sunsets, right? They're just craziness. Um, I did get some that were, you know, like total failures. This was not real cool, I didn't think. That's not what I want a sunset to look like. They're vibrant. And then this one was splotchy. So I tried making all the mistakes so you wouldn't have to. When I finally did it with the ink pads, then I get this nice, vibrant, strong sunset to deal with. So I'm going to put the one I just made off to the side to dry and show you how easy this card is to put together. So I'm going to, don't need my dish towel anymore. And I'm going to take one of these and I'm going to place it on top of here. I think I'm going to use my Seal Plus because that'll give it a really good seal. Stick it down on the edges. I'm going to do it with the light color at the bottom. And that's the thing about sunsets, right? They all look different. So here's the two pieces of the sailboat. And basically, I'm just going to take a little bit of liquid glue here and place my sail on top so that the top of it is right underneath that. And whoop, liquid glue moves, silly girl. There you go. Put that aside to dry for just a moment. For my card base, I'm going to have a 8.5 by 5.5 basic black cardstock for the base and fold it in half. And I didn't really want to add other color in it for interest. So I am going with a black designer series paper. This is part of the Botanical Textures pack that's available right now. It's beautiful, and I've made some fun cards with it. So I'm going to put on my liquid glue so I get nice borders. Put this on here. And then this is going to go on here. And I am going to do dimensionals behind my boat and behind the 3.5 by 3.25 by 4.25 inch piece that we've decorated. So one there, one there. Take these off. It's always the hardest part. And put this on here. So I don't know why, but this has sort of some like circles. I'm not worried about it. Sometimes sunsets are, you know, they don't make sense. This is still wet, so I got to be a little bit careful with it. That just moved again. But I've got the boat on there. And then these are the strips that I cut off from the watercolor paper. And normally I wouldn't stamp on the watercolor paper because it sucks so much ink. And yeah, it's a little bit not totally rough, but a tiny bit rough. But I did one earlier. It came out okay. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a happy retirement. And this fits pretty perfectly right on here. I have switched to using the uninked white craft pad and filling it with Memento ink. I really think I get much better coverage. So thank you to whatever demonstrator uh, showed me that trick while I was watching videos one day. I appreciate it. I'm going to put dimensionals behind this. 1, 2. And then that is going to be our easy peasy card. Just going to put it over here. If you wanted to do the You're Destined for Great Things, I'd probably put it down this way, um, and do a banner in it. This one's not quite wide enough, but any saying you want to put on there, I think it's a beautiful card. This is the other one I made earlier. So very much the same, but every sunset, just like in real life, is going to be different. So I hope you enjoyed this. It was fun to do this technique again, but it's a little bit messy. So prepare yourself, and um, you'll probably go through some paper and figuring out just how much water or whatever. But once you get the hang of it, you'll be like me and just make bunches so that you can do lots more of these cards. So give it a try and let me know how it comes out. Thanks and have a good day.